Tekrar hatırlatıyorum. Broşürümüzün lütfen arka kapağını açınız. Arka kapakta birinci soru QR kod. Çok teknolojik çalışıyoruz farkındaysanız. Her şey yüksek teknoloji. Broşürün arkasındaki QR kod. Şimdi sorumuz gelecek. Cesi sorumuz geliyor mu? Evet. Okuyayım isterseniz. Gayrimenkul satışında memnuniyetsizliğin en yüksek olduğu süreç size göre hangisidir? Satış ofisi ve bilgilendirme süreci A. Satış ofisi deneyiminden satışa kadar olan süreç B. Satış sürecinden konut teslimine kadar olan süreç D. Konut teslim sürecinden yaşam başlangıcına kadar olan süreç. Bu süreçlerden hangisi memnuniyetsizliğin en önemli unsuru? 20 saniyemiz var. Broşürlerdeki birinci sorudaki QR koda göre cevap veriyoruz. Bakalım memnuniyetsizliklerin arkasında hangisi varmış? Yüksek teknolojiyle hemen sonucu alıyoruz. Satış ofisi ve bilgilendirme süreci en az önemsiz görünmüş memnuniyetsizlik açısından. Satış ofisi deneyiminden satışa kadar olan süreç biraz daha az. Satış sürecinden konut teslimine kadar olan süreçte de memnuniyetsizlik yok denilmiş, daha düşük denilmiş. En önemli faktör olarak konut teslim sürecinden yaşam başlangıcına kadar olan süreç denilmiş. Şimdi bakalım doğru cevap neymiş? Bu araştırmaları bu yüzden çok önemsiyorum. Ben bir marketing hocası olarak da ürünü ve hizmeti arz edenlerle ürünü ve hizmeti kullananlar arasında, değil mi Ali İbrahim Bey? Büyük bir algı farkı oluyor. Burada da aynı şey var. Demek ki insanların en önem verdiği şey satış sürecinden satıştan konut teslime kadar olan. Çünkü en gergin an, en aslında kaygılı an, en fazla engel olan anlar bunlar. Onları aşmamız çok önemli. Memnuniyet dedik. Şimdi bugün ilginç bir şey var farkındaysanız. Konuşmacılarımız duygulardan bahsediyorlar daha çok, algılardan bahsediyorlar. Her ne kadar Agah Bey daha katı kurallarla girişimciliği anlattıysa da sık sık duygulardan söz etti. Bizim bir profesörümüz var. Profesörümüz Yunanistan'dan aramıza geldi. Firmanızda nasıl anlam yaratırsınız? Pozitif kültür nedir? Bakın kültür çok diyoruz ama pozitif kültür. İtibar yönetiminde pozitif bakış açısı neler kazandırır? Kolektif çalışma, anlam ve değer yaratma, değişimlere karşı esnek olma, bütün bu başlıkları irdeleyen bir hocamız var. Pek çok bilimsel makale ve kitabın yazarı. Pantheon Üniversitesi Psikoloji bölümünde profesör. Biraz önce sohbet ediyorduk. Anneannesi dermiş ki ona gel burada. Türkçe. Herhalde buralardan göçen hanımlardan bir tanesi. Gel buraya değil, gel burada. Dedim ki o zaman ben ona gel burada değil, Ela bildiğim sözcüklerden biri, bir de yasu diyeceğim kendisine. Pozitif yönetim, itibar ve anlam, bu konuları tartışacağız. Pantheon Üniversitesi Psikoloji Bölümü Profesörü Anastassios Stalikas. Bir alkış rica edelim. Gel burada.
Gel burada.
Gel burada.
Gel burada.
Hoş geldiniz. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, how are you? Such a lovely conference. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me here. I have at least 3 different reasons to be very happy. The first one is I'm here in Istanbul and I like this city. It's a beautiful city and I love it. The second good reason is I'm talking to you guys, and you are people who are in the business, who are active, who are doing things for your lives and for the life of others. And if I would be able to put you through the message I want to put through for you, I will be so happy. The third reason I'm happy about is because I'm going to talk to you about something that I love very much, and this is positive psychology. Now, when I go to people and I say, hello, I'm a university professor, I'm a psychotherapist, I'm a coach, and I'm working with positive psychology, they look at me like this, they take a look and they say, oh, yeah, we know you. You are the guys who are saying, be happy, and you're saying, no worries, and, what is the other one? Yeah, the glass, the stupid glass, it's half full, and it's not half empty, and, be optimistic, yeah, man, and positive energy, and not having any negative emotions, and positive thinking, etc., etc. And I'm looking at them and I say, that's not quite what positive psychology is all about. I mean, this is all true, but it's a bit too little about positive psychology. Positive psychology is more of a science, it's more of part of psychology, and we spend a lot of time and energy to do research and figure out important questions. We human beings, and we psychologists, we've dealt with illness for a long, long time. Psychology is here for the last 200 years. That's when the first modern psychology came about. And during these 200 years, until approximately 20 years ago, we were dealing with how can we take people from the point where they hurt, where there is illness, and bring them to the zero, bring them to the point where they don't hurt anymore. And we thought, that's our job. If you don't have depression and anxiety and stress and any other psychological problem, and if I take the symptoms away, that should be enough. It took us 200 years to realize that not having symptoms doesn't mean you're happy. Hear this out. It doesn't mean that when you're in the 0 point that you're going to be happy. It simply means you're not hurting. And what it leads to, usually, it's to apathy. So positive psychology came and said, I want to know what happens there. I want to know what do we have to do in order to take people from the 0 point where they don't hurt and see how can make them happy. So positive psychology is here to talk about this area, to talk about how can we try and help people to become happy. And one of the first questions, of course, is, what is happiness? What are the ingredients of happiness? What do I do to be happy? And what do happy people do? And in our case, you're going to ask me, why is this guy talking here? This is business meeting. Why are we talking about being happy? Hold on your horses, I'll explain to you in a minute. So, why do people, what is happiness? What are the ingredients of happiness? And you know what? It took us 200 years, in 1998, to realize something that it seemed so simple now, but it seemed so new 20 years ago. And this little thing we found out was that when you experience a positive emotion, something good happens, both for your body and for your psyche. That experiencing positive emotions is good. You see, until now, we were thinking that experiencing positive emotions, it just felt good. But now we know that it does something more than just feeling good. It has a beneficial role both for your body and your psyche. When I talk about positive emotions, I talk one of these 10 positive emotions. Like when you go out and you feel joy and you're happy, you're joyful. When something happens to you and you feel grateful that somebody did this for you. When you go and you're kind of being serene and calm and you take it easy. When you get interested in something and your attention is being affected and you think like, oh my God, this is interesting, what's it all about? When you feel this sense of hope, this sense of optimism, this sense that everything will go well. When you feel proud of who you are and proud of what you accomplished. When you're being inspired by somebody does something and inspires you. When you go out with friends and you have fun. When you feel this sense of awe, admiration, you say, wow, what beautiful this is. And then finally, when you're in love, all of these 10 emotions, every time you experience them, they do something good for you. Do I make sense? Is that clear? Now, it took us 200 years to come to this realization. So we said, like, you know what? Experiencing positive emotion does good things for you. Now, what I'm going to do in the next maybe 10 minutes is I'm going to tell you what do we know from the last 20 years. We've done 20 years of research, and I'm going to tell you in 10 minutes what we found out. We found out, first of all, that people who experience a lot of positive emotions, they live longer. People who experience positive emotions, they live 5 to 7 years more than those of you who experience negative emotions. Now here, don't get me wrong. I think that we need both negative and positive emotions for our life. But the point is, we don't need to be always in a negative emotional state, because this becomes toxic for ourselves, and then we need to bring up our positive emotions. The more positive emotions we experience, then the more better we live, and we live for more years. Now, 5 to 7 years extra, it's a big deal. There is nothing else in psychology that gives you 5 to 7 years extra of your life. Only if you quit smoking. If you quit smoking, then you may live a couple of years more. But other than smoking, being happy, experiencing positive emotions, is the one thing that makes you live a longer life. Is what we say, positive emotions, not only they make you live longer, but they make you live happier. Not only positive emotions add happiness, add years into your life, but they add life into your years. The second thing we found out is that positivity is related to your physiological health. When we look about people with their physical health, we realize that those people who are more excited, happy, optimistic, they don't get sick so often. They have less instances of heart attacks, we have less instances of diabetes, we have less instances of cancer. People who are always in negativity and they're stressful and anxious, they live in a toxic environment and they get sick more often. So if you experience positive emotions, your physical health is going to be better. Not only that, but also your psychological health is going to be better. Now here again, when I talk about psychological health, we psychologists, we know that in our life, we're going to face serious challenges. Nobody lives a life without problems. Nobody lives a life that doesn't have enough challenges. The challenges we assumed, we calculated, it will be 7 to 9 major crises that you're going to face in your life. 7 to 9. You can start calculating. When I say serious problems, I'm talking about things like divorce, betrayal, death, chronic illness, natural disasters, financial disasters, immigration, and so on and so forth. What we're finding is that people who keep their spirits up, they tend to experience these things in a better way. They come back faster. They don't get down and stay down. They get down and they get up again. It's what we call psychological resilience. Psychological resilience, it's a concept that refers to the idea of how strong I am and how can I take the difficulties of life. You see, it is not that happy people don't, happy people don't get in troubles. It is not that happy people don't get, shit doesn't happen to them. It does. The difference is they handle it different. They have they're much more sturdy, they're much more powerful, and they can deal with it in a better way. Not only that, but we also found out that when you are experiencing positive emotions, your brain functions better. We made experiments with children, with adults, with students, and when we take these people and we bring them under the influence of positive emotions, they seem to be problem-solve better, faster. They make less mistakes. They're more productive. They can do better things and more things when they are in a good mood than when they are in a bad mood. Not only that, they perform better. I'm coming from Greece. I live in Athens. And for the last 10 years, Greece has been in a horrible financial crisis, and not only. And during this period, we've been very often we're called by companies like your companies, like real estate and big multinational companies from Greece, asking us to do something to improve the morale of the people. And not only to improve the morale, but also to find out what can they have to do in order to improve their performance. What we statistically and systematically found is that people who are better placed, that they feel better, they feel more hopeful about things, those were the ones who are performing better. When we talk about performance at work or performance at school or performance in athletic, being in a happier place, it makes you a better player, a more successful player. Not only becomes a better player, but also you become more creative. I was listening to the previous talks here, and everybody talked about innovation and creativity and new kind of challenges that we have in the business world. One of the things we're finding out is that we need our people to be creative, to be innovative. When we go and we study about what is creativity and how can somebody become creative, the one thing that stands out time after time is the idea that you're being creative, that you're being in a good mood, that you're experiencing positive emotions. And if you want your people to be creative, to be innovative, they have to be experiencing some sort of positive emotions. Innovation and stress don't mix. When you're stressful, you can do what you know a bit better. But when you're stressed, you cannot think out of the box. You cannot be creative. You cannot be innovative. And last but not least, relationships. People who are more in a better mood, who smile more, who are more joyful, who experience positive emotions, they have more relationships and better relationships than anybody else. Now you will say to me, why is that important? Well, it seems that we human beings are deeply social beings, and we need people, we need relationships, we need a good social support. I'll be telling you later about a study at Harvard University, but that studied the impact on relationships. But the important thing here is that when people experience positive emotions, all these good things happen. Research has shown us the last 2 years that for people who who have higher levels of positivity, they live longer, they have less psychological problems, less psychological problems, less physical problems, they are thinking better, they're more creative, innovative, they perform better, they have better relationships. My God, is that amazing? This is new stuff. We just discovered this 20 years ago, and 20 years for psychology, it's a little fragment of time. It's not a big period. So when this came about, and we decided, wow, positivity works, positivity seems to have all kinds of good things happening for us, then the next question was, how can we increase it? What can we do to make people feel more positive? What can I do to test you guys, to invite you to experience more positive emotions than you actually do now? So what we did a number of different experiments. We tried all different kinds of avenues, and to figure out what do we have to do in order to increase your positivity. We found 4 things, 4 important things that when you get involved with, your positivity will rise. The first one of them is called psychological flow. Psychological flow describes a situation where you do something that you like, and what you do also is challenging for you. It's not too easy, because if it's too easy, you get bored. It's not too difficult, because if it is too difficult, you get frustrated and you give up. So when you're in a process where you do something that you kind of like, and you like it, and it's difficult enough, it's challenging enough, then you like this, and you do it more, and you do it more. And the more you do it, the more good you feel about it. And the more good you feel about it, then the more you continue doing it. Athletes call this the zone. This is when you get into the zone where the athletes, they start running, and they get into the zone and they can go for kilometers without being stopped, and then something happens and they snap out of it. Flow, it's a process where you guys were doing something that you like and something which is challenging for you. If you do this, you will work more, you will work without feeling any hardship, and you will feel good about it. And then people come to us and they say, yeah, but is it the same thing? Like, are you talking about like playing electronic games? Because that's something you can do. I can play electronic games forever, but this is not good for my life, is it? And the answer is, you're partially right. You're partially right because the second thing that we find is very important for us people to do is we have to do things that are meaningful for us, that give us a sense of meaning in life. So it's not enough only to do something that you like and is challenging, but what you're doing, it has to be related into, why the hell am I doing this? Does it make sense to me? Do I like this? Do I contribute anything to anybody? We human beings, we like attributing meaning to what we are doing. So if we can do things that we can find them meaningful, then what we will do, it will give us much more pleasure. And here is a little bit to be careful about. The meaning does not come from outside. We ascribe meaning to our work. I'll give you a very little example because we don't have so much time. But one of the times we went to one of these companies and we tested the morale of the people, we found out that the person who was the strong person with the highest morale in the company was the cleaning lady. This was the cleaning lady who was cleaning the washrooms, and she was also serving coffee to the visitors in the company. And she's making one of the lowest salaries, and we couldn't figure out how come this woman, she's all happy about it. So we had an interview with her, and we talked to her, tell us about your job. And she said, my job, it is that I am the counselor, I am the ambassador of this company. And we said, huh? What are you talking about? You're the cleaning lady. And the woman said, no, I'm the ambassador of the company. Because all the visitors who come to the company, they may need to go to the bathroom. And if the bathroom is clean, then they get a good impression about our company. If the bathrooms are dirty, then they get a very bad impression about our company. And the same goes for the coffee. I'm going to bring them the coffee, and if the coffee is good, on a clean plate, and it was all well done, they get a good impression of our company. My job is to be the ambassador of this company, to ensure that everybody will be satisfied when they come here, when they come to visit our company and do business with us. Why I'm telling you this example is to say that we are creating our own meaning. And if we as a company, and you as the leaders, you have to be able to provide to your workers why the hell they do what they do. Making money is not enough. In the latest survey we did, so what we found out is like, when you do something which has meaning in your life, then you experience more positive emotions. You like it. And when you experience more positive emotions, it changes the way you see your life. Because when you're in a good mood, you see your life in a better realm. You evaluate it as having more meaning than when you're in a good mood. In the latest survey we did, we asked workers to tell us what is the most important thing for them in the job they want to have, in the job they want to hold. And we find out that most of the employees, they said, I want to have a meaningful employment. And that meaningful employment, doing something which makes sense for me, that I am understanding, is more important than salary, is more important than security, is more important than how far is my job from my home. That's the second one. The second category we went, and I told you before, it's relationships. It seems that we human beings, we want to be able to share our accomplishments with other people. If I am to do something that I like, and this something has meaning, I want to have people to be able to share it with. From the very old times, we human beings, we need each other. We need to have a relationship with one another. We cannot be lonely. The same way the bees, they go in the beehive, and the human beings, we have our tribes, our families, our neighborhoods, our friendships. We need this group of people in order to experience positive emotion, but also in order to experience and feel good and better about ourselves. I told you earlier about this study at Harvard University. Are you there? Do you hear me? Harvard University, 1939. They decide to do a study about happy aging. What do people do in order to live longer to be happy and to have less physical troubles. So they take their students who graduate from Harvard, 1939, 1940, 1941, and they follow them for 80 years until they die in 2017. And they give them questionnaires every year, and they put them through medical exams every year. And in the end of the 80 years, we've spent more than $500 million in money. We've changed 6 directors, research directors of the project, and now the project is over, and we're saying, what is the variable, what is the one thing that makes people live longer, be having less problems of the health, and be happier? And you know what the answer is? What is the secret? Yes? Nobody? I'm alone, nobody listens to me. Relationships. The only thing that will guarantee that you live longer and you have less problems is the quality of the relationships that you will have. Not the amount of children that you have, not the amount of money that you make, not the amount of education that you have, or the position that you hold. What guarantees that you will live longer and be happier? It will be the kind of relationships you have. So the more relationships you have, the better you feel about yourself, the more positive emotions you have, and the more positive emotions you have, the more friends you attract. Now, think about it. I've told you, if you want to experience positive emotions, do the things that you like, that you find challenging, that are meaningful, share them with the people inside you, well, like with friends, with relationships, and then if you do this, then you will be able to feel more safety, you are able to develop a relationship of trust, and you will bond with one another. So having now this bonding, this relating, this sharing, then you will be able to achieve what you want. When we want to study how do people achieve things, and how come some people are better achievers than other achievers, the answer is those people who can make it, who are successful, they're the ones who do what they like. What would we do? Challenging things. They do things that they find meaningful, and then they can share their accomplishments with other friends. And then they do achieve things. And the more things they achieve, the more positivity they feel. And the more positive emotions they feel, the more chances they have to achieve more things. Okay, what did I tell you? What is the secret for the moment about how to increase your positivity? And to increase your positivity, I told you have to do things that you like and are challenging for you, things that are meaningful, things that you do them in relationship with other people, and then you will achieve things. When we figured this out, we said, holy cow, this is what we call well-being. This is what we call happiness. That if you guys want to be happy, these are the 5 things you should be paying attention to. These 5 things are the 5 ingredients of happiness. And now you will say, okay, Stalikas, enough. How does this relate to our work? And here comes the answer. The answer comes that when we take this model out of the individual place and we move it to organizations, we call this the positive organizational culture. And the answer is, what is positive management? How do I acquire a good reputation? What is the secret to successful business based on what I told you earlier? And the answer is, if you want to be a healthy organization, you have to recognize the importance of well-being of the people that you work with. You have to focus on the well-being of your employees, and you have to provide the necessary conditions for human flourishing. And you will say, why am I going to do this? I'm a business, I'm a company. I'm not a hospital or a psychotherapy process. Why do I do this? You do this because you're smart, because you're modern, and because you know the secret And the secret is that when your employees have higher levels of well-being, then they perform better. You do this because you want to have better performance. And for people to perform better, they have to feel good inside themselves. Not only they perform better, but they sell more. They have a higher level of return. They give you more, they bring more money into the company. Also, they don't get absent so often. They don't get sick so often. So you don't lose hours that you'd exploit in your jobs. Finally, they have a very higher level of loyalty. They stay with you. They stay with the company. They don't want to change company. They have their clients, they are more satisfied, statistically more satisfied than the clients of other companies. And finally, they don't have what we call burnout. So in other words, if you really want to be a good leader of the 21st century, of the new decade that starts in a few days, you will have to focus on the positive management. And the positive management is about fostering human growth. The more healthy your employees are, the more they're going to produce. And then if you do this, then your company will acquire a higher level of reputation. During the period of crisis in Greece, we have a supermarket chain. Lots of people were letting people go, were getting smaller. There was one chain of supermarkets in Greece that said, I'm going to be loyal to my employees. And this supermarket chain today is one of the biggest, is one of the fastest growing, and the one that they're doing the best return in Greece. It seemed that the loyalty of their employees was very important in order to keep them alive, not only to keep them alive, but to help them grow. And finally, what is the secret to a successful business? You know, when I was young, I'm coming from Thessaloniki, you probably know this city, the city that Kemal Atatürk was born. I was born in Thessaloniki and I grew up in Thessaloniki, and my parents were telling me, you have to work hard, and then if you work hard, this will make you successful, and then after you will be successful, then you're going to be happy. Are you saying the same things to your kids? Yes? No? Anybody? Well, you should not say it, because it's simply not true. What we find out from different research we've done, we found out that the truth is that the people who are satisfied, they are those people who are willing to work harder, and those who work harder, they are going to become successful. And when you become successful, you know what happens then? Then you will work harder. And then you work harder, you become successful. And when you're successful, what happens then? Then you work harder. But if you're happy, if you like what you do, it's okay for you. It's okay for you to work hard and be successful. As long as you're happy with what you do. People stop doing this cycle of working hard to be successful and working hard to be successful only when they lose their satisfaction, only when they don't like anymore what they used to like. So, in closing, if I was going to say one sentence about all these things that I talked to you today, I would say to you, open your eyes, be careful, be smart, because fostering the well-being of your employees is the royal road to a successful, reputable, and healthy organization. Thank you.